Hey Heather, today's Skill Short, we're going to be discussing identifying your needs and values in moments when you are bothered. So, we talk about that in class. Why is that important?
I love this question, Adam, because it's been, I think, instrumental in my own life. So, a couple reasons why it's important. Obviously, it helps us identify our needs and our values, just like it says. But that adds, I think, a few things into our conversation, not only maybe with ourselves, but with the other person, right? When I can name more deeply for myself, oh, I'm bothered because I have a need around some independence, or I have a value around maybe how we parent in this situation. I'm able to clarify for myself how I want to be in that conversation in a little bit better way. And when I can clarify that in a better way for the person with me, I think they're better able to meet our needs and maybe even understand our values at a little deeper level. So I think it helps draw us closer together and it keeps us from getting into this space where maybe we're operating more from a defensive place.
So, have you ever said, like, I'm looking for a personal story here, maybe where you had something happen with someone and you said to yourself, man, they are just driving me blank, whatever that might be, driving me crazy, driving me nuts, whatever it might fit your choice of words there. When you feel those kinds of feelings, tell me an example, if you have one, of when that's happened to you and how you worked through it and the benefit that came out of it.
Yeah, as you asked that question, I was laughing because I so wish I could say, no, I've never had that happen, Adam.
Well, I mean, I asked a question that pretty much everyone is going to say yes to at some point in our life, so maybe it's not fair to ask it, but
Daily, maybe, Adam, daily. Um, no, so I think the story that always comes to my mind is actually my honeymoon. And so my honeymoon was a delayed honeymoon. We had a lot of things leading up to it, not only the wedding, but my husband ran for election and we had the holidays right up against it, and there was just a lot going on. So by the time we got to our honeymoon, um, we were a little disconnected, not because we wanted to be, but just because of busyness in our day to day life. And needless to say, we had high expectations for how this event went, right? It's supposed to be the accumulation of all things wonderful in your world, but we felt disconnected. And I think it was probably a couple days in, I could tell my husband was probably saying, like, oh, she's really bugging me. And I was definitely in the space of, why is he being so irritating or whatever brother blank we want to fill in there. And literally, we were sitting at the bar and um, my husband was watching TV, which is actually kind of triggering on a value of mine about how we should be together when we're at dinner together on a special event. And I walked out on him in the bar. Now, I did say, I'm going to go back to the room, but because I need to process some stuff. And I remembered what we say in class, right? Every behavior is a reflection of a need. And obviously, now in this moment, we're both behaving a certain way.
yep.
And I went back to our room and I actually keep this needs and values list on my cell phone. And I just sat down and I looked at the needs list and the values list and just thought about what was going on for me in that moment, what I needed and valued. My husband came back, gave me a little time, but then he came back too, and I kind of told him what I had done, and I suggested that maybe he do the same thing and read through the list, and that maybe we name for each other what were the needs and values that were at play in that moment. Now, I'm an external processor, so I thought this would probably lead to maybe a way too long conversation and potentially a fight. So I had a lot of nervousness about it.
Yeah.
Um, but he read through the list. We both shared. These are kind of the needs, values. We added the emotions in there that we were feeling. We didn't add in a description. And there was something about that that just released that. And I think also helped us understand what was going on for the other person. Um, and there was no long conversation, there was no fight. We just heard each other and went on to have a really, really great honeymoon.
Heather, thank you for sharing such a being so open and sharing such an emotional story. That is such a important thing for couples to be able to do is to be able to talk to each other. And I'm so glad that the two of you, realized, hey, we're both behaving in a way that we may not appreciate out of each other. Let's talk about it. And I'm glad that your honeymoon continued on to be a special one. I'm hoping.
Yeah, it was. It was great. And I don't know if I said this earlier, but one thing I'll add is that, like, for me, I don't have a great list of needs and values and emotions all readily accessible in my head, which
Absolutely
is why
not.
I
I
keep it
don't
on
either.
my phone.
That's a great reminder. Actually, yeah, we can keep things like that with us all the time, so we have the opportunity to take a step back, reflect, and figuring out what is bothering us and really pinpoint it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for going over this in today's skill snippet short. Appreciate it, Heather. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.